Alright, so we're on part 2 here, video 2, talking about our different health components. I ran out of time on that last video. So muscular strength, okay? Again, the ability to exert force against resistance. We're not talking about repetitively here. We're talking about like one time, how much force, that is your strength, okay? Again, measuring by how much you can lift, pull, push, press, basically moving weight, sometimes towards the body, sometimes away from the body, up, down, different directions, okay? You improve this again by repeating this exerting of force, okay? But we're not talking endurance when we're talking repeating. We're talking about, okay, you're going to work on strength, you're going to yes, bench press. You're going to do 3 sets of 10, roughly. So you're repeating that a little bit, but not a lot. And then the next day or a couple days later, you come back to it again. And it just takes time of working this process over and over. You're not going to bench press one time and gain a bunch of strength. That's not work. See, it's got to be a habit, a routine that you come back and repeat. Now, different types of exercises that would improve your strength. Okay, lots of variations here. You have body weight exercises. Okay, and again, that's simply, ones that even we can do a lot in PE. Push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, squats. You moving the weight of just your body in space. Okay, no equipment required. Very simple, but still very effective. Now, a lot of times these are done in an endurance way, okay, repeating how many push-ups can you do over and over and over, okay, repeating that can improve your strength, all right, but it's going to do more so muscular endurance, okay, and strength a little bit, but moving more weight will create more strength, okay, and then body weight, you just don't have more weight. Bands and tubes, these provide resistance, okay, provide tension. They're elastic, so when you stretch, they get tighter and harder to pull. But you can push, pull, press these bands, okay, to provide added extra resistance. And then free weights is a very common one, maybe most common for people who are trying to build strength. And they're using barbells, dumbbells, kettlebells. You go into a weight room, the free weights, okay, are usually stacked on shelves or on the floor or in racks, okay. These provide a lot of resistance. You can change resistance on the size of the weights you are utilizing, and but also sometimes with this, safety can be an issue, okay. So depending on the exercise that you're doing, free weights may not be the way to go if you're lifting alone, because yeah, they can be dangerous at times if you don't exactly know what you're doing or get yourself into a situation where you can't finish a lift because your muscles are giving out, and you kind of got to escape that. But these are some of the best ways to increase strength, and if you want to test your max strength, this is typically the way people are going to do it. Okay, machines, pulley machines. You get different bench press machines where it's not free but running on tracks. Leg press machines. Okay, lots of different types of equipment. You go into any workout facility, there's equipment upon equipment upon equipment. Basically, these are targeting very few muscles. Free weights. You do a squat with free weights, you're targeting a lot of muscles. The entire body. You're working core, back, legs, butt, okay? You're working a lot of things. If you go do the leg press machine, you are simply targeting a few muscles in the legs. So it's great if you're wanting to target that. If you're wanting to work multiple muscle groups, machines aren't the way necessarily to go. If you're wanting to measure your max strength, machines typically aren't the way to go. But they are also safer, especially if you're going to be lifting alone. They can be much safer than free weights. Now, to improve your muscular strength, again, I'm sorry my video is kind of in the way of the notes there, but to improve muscular strength and endurance. These are different, again, types of exercises that we're not really going to talk about much, but you may see around. So I just want a brief overview. You have what's called isotonic. Okay, isotonic. These are movements with joints. So your movements from the joints, contracting muscles. Okay, your curls, kettlebells, free weights, body weight exercises, your push-ups. Okay, you're moving, pushing your way from the floor when you do a push-up. Okay, if you're doing a curl, your elbows are bending, your muscles are contracting and shortening. They're lengthening, shortening. Okay, that's isotonic. Isometric, muscles are under tension, but there is no shortening or lengthening of muscles. Okay, it's just a static pose or a hold that you work the muscle strength. Okay, like a plank hold. Everyone know what plank holds are. You put your elbows and hands on the ground, toes on the ground, you try to lift and hold your body up. When you're in that pose and holding, your muscles are not lengthening and shortening. They stay static, but it's still working them to hold that pose. Okay, so planks are a great example of isometric exercises. Nothing's moving, but you are working. Whereas isotonic, muscles are shortening and lengthening. Things are moving. Joints are bending. Okay, isokinetic is similar to isotonic. Okay, but isokinetic, again, muscles are moving. Okay, but as they're contracting, things are getting tougher. The resistance is getting harder. All right, so I'm going to use curls again as an example. Okay, if you're doing bicep curls with free weights, all right, if you get a 20-pound free weight, when you're curling that, the resistance stays 20 pounds the entire time. 20 pounds doesn't change. Okay, in isokinetic, if you were to use resistant bands, okay, as you're pulling that higher and the band is stretching further and further and further, it's getting tougher, tougher, tougher. So the resistance is increasing as movement's occurring. All right. So there's just a slight variation there in isotonic, isokinetic. Isokinetic just basically gets harder as the resistance is applied. Isotonic is the same resistance throughout the contraction. Isometric, there is no movement, but it's still working the muscles. Okay, flexibility here is our, I believe, our last component. Okay, we're determining how elastic our muscles, tendons, and ligaments are. All right, we're determining the range of motion. Now, range of motion is how far a joint can move in a particular direction. So, one of the simplest things that people like to test is the toe touch, or how far can you touch your toes, how far you can reach past your toes, and that's a good range of motion, because yes, you are now requiring, or you're testing the flexibility or elasticity of your hamstrings in the back of your legs, as well as many of the joints in your lower back. Okay, and those are ones that oftentimes get very tight. So you're testing a lot of different things to see, can I reach? Can I get there? Okay. In PE class, we've been doing shoulder flexibility test, where put your thumbs inside your hands and then you put them behind your back, one up and one low, and see how close you can get them together. Okay. Can your hands touch? Were they far apart, or where are they? Okay. That is measuring, again, a lot of muscles, joints, tendons, ligaments inside your shoulders and back to see how close can I get my hands together. Okay. Now, not having enough flexibility, really, again, it limits the range of motion. Okay, like touching your toes. If you can't touch your toes, your range of motion is limited. You might be tight, stiff, okay, but a lot of these turn into, well, performing daily tasks can be difficult. You can't bend down to tie your shoes because you're not flexible. That makes it harder, makes it more difficult. It means you might fall over trying to perform that task more often. Okay, but not being flexible actually puts you at more risk of injury. Okay, if a muscle is not elastic and then it gets stretched to that point at some point, then that can be cause for injury. Okay, so having good flexibility is important to the health of your body. But too much flexibility puts your joints at risk for injury. Too much can be a bad thing. Things start slipping out of position. If you get too much flexibility in your knee joint, then the knee joint itself may slip out. That would be not very pleasant. Okay, just so you know, there's no such thing as double jointed. People, can do crazy things and put their joints into weird angles. There's no such thing as double joint. It's just extreme elasticity in that joint, so you get a lot of movement, and at times that may not be a good thing. Could put yourself at a little bit of risk of injury, but most of the time you're going to be fine. Now, how to increase flexibility? Okay, before stretching, so before you actually start touching your toes, you should do a light warm-up. You should be jogging. Okay, get the body warm, because when it's warm, muscles become more elastic. Stretch so you feel tightness, not pain. Okay, you don't want to push too far. Developing flexibility is going to take some time. It's going to be repeating this process over and over. So go until you feel tight and try to hold that, but not till it hurts. Okay, and when you're holding that stretch, you should try to hold it for 10 to 30 seconds. Okay, it's not a get there and then okay, I'm done, because that's uncomfortable. So hold that stretch. Don't bounce at the bottom of it to try to reach further. Just hold what you can. That bouncing may cause overstretching and tears. Breathe as you do it. Again, we always need to get that oxygen to the muscles so they're continuing to work how we want them to. And then you repeat this stretch 2 to 4 times. So you hold it 10 to 30 seconds, do it again 10 to 30 seconds, maybe 2 more times after that even. Okay, that's how you're going to repeat that process of improving flexibility. Here's some different testing components. I encourage you to look at these tests, click on these links, find these. But again, we talked briefly about some of these here, and we'll talk about them in class again too. But take the time, research these, and we'll move on. Have a good day.